Welcome to this video on Variation Part 1, Direct Variation. Please note that the following are equivalent expressions. Y varies directly with x, y is directly proportional to x, or y is equal to kx. K is called the constant of variation. You can use any variable or any letter here to represent the constant of variation, but in these examples we will stick to using the letter K. So example 1 says y varies directly as x. So let's just stop there. Y varies directly as x. How do we write that? Well, we write y. Anytime I see the word varies, that means I'm going to write an equal sign. Directly as x means x is upstairs, but we need our constant k to go next to x because we don't know exactly how y and x vary. So y varies directly as x, we write as y equals kx. So that's our first piece. So notice that in this answer box, I have three pieces of information we're looking for. First, we have to find k. Then we need to write the equation. Then finally, we can solve for y. So let's begin. The next piece of information we're given is that y is equal to 80 and x equals 4. So when y is equal to 80, x is equal to 4. So I have 80 is equal to k times 4. In other words, 80 is equal to 4k. I can solve for k by dividing both sides by 4, and I found out that k, my constant of variation, is 20. So already I can write k is equal to 20. Now what I need to do is I need to take that 20 and I need to put it back in here into this equation. So instead of y is equal to kx, I can write y is equal to 20x. Notice when we write the equation, we still want y and we still want x. What we don't want anymore is k because we just found k. So we must replace the k with, in this case, 20. So that's the first part of the problem. Now let's keep reading because we haven't even finished reading this problem yet. So it says, then find x when y is equal to 120. So we have y is equal to 20x, okay? And it says to find x if y is equal to 120. So we have 120 equals 20x. So this is a simple one-step equation. We solve it by dividing dividing both sides by 20, and we find that in this case, x is equal to 6. So this should not say y, this should say x. It should say x equals 6. So let's keep going. Example 2 says the dosage of medication that is prescribed by a doctor varies directly with the weight of the patient. Okay, so we need some variables here. I'm going to call the dosage of medication, I'm going to call that M for medication that is prescribed by a doctor varies directly. So we need my constant of variation here. With the weight of the patient. Okay, so again, M is the dosage of medicine. Okay, and I'm going to make W equal to the weight of the patient. Okay, and you can pick any letters you want to. All right, so let's keep reading. Then it says a doctor prescribes 2.5 milliliters of medication. So 2.5 milliliters of medication for a 200-pound patient. So we still don't know K, but we know that the weight in this case is 200 pounds. Okay, so we don't really need the units to do this, right? We can just say that 2.5 is equal to 200K. So to find K, we can just divide both sides by 200. Okay, so let's write out our equation. So instead of M is equal to KW, I'm going to write M is equal to 0.0125 times W. So that's our equation. So now let's use that equation to find how much medication we would give to someone who weighs 220 pounds. So again, we need to write out our equation. We have M equals 0.0125W. Okay, and again, the weight is given to us as 220 pounds. So let's go ahead and do that math. So in this case, we find out that the amount of medicine, the dose of medicine, would actually be 2.75 milliliters. So we write 2.7 milliliters. So the answer to this question is that 2.75 milliliters of medication should be prescribed for a person weighing 220 pounds. All right, example 3. So this is just some practice interpreting these statements. So again, anytime I see the word varies, okay, you're going to replace that word with the equal sign. Okay, so y varies directly as x, so that's going to be y is equal to kx. Y varies directly as the square of x, so I need to write that as x squared. Again, I still have to have k in there. Okay, y varies directly as the cube root of x, so that's y is equal to k times the cube root of x. And then I have s varies directly as p. Okay, so I used y and x a lot. You don't always have to use y and x. You can use any variables you want. Again, notice in all of these equations you have your constant of variation. All right, example 4. Y varies directly as the square of x, so let's just write that down. Y varies directly as the square of x. Okay, then it says y is equal to 80 when x is equal to 4. So let's find k. So we have 80 is equal to 16k. Divide both sides by 16. And we get k is equal to 5. So we can write k equals 5 here. Now that we have found k, we need to write our equation. So instead of writing y is equal to kx squared, we can replace k with a value we just found, which is 5. So our equation is y equals 5x squared. All right, so now we can keep reading the problem, right? It says use this information to find y when x equals 7. So we have y equals 5x squared. Okay, so again, we build a little nest for our x. X is going to be 7. So we have 5 times 7 squared. Well, 7 squared is 49. So we find that y is equal to 245. So our final answer is y equals 245.